Where's he at? Hey, Koda. This is Koda. And in this video, we're going to go over some tips and tricks that you can use if you have a dog that's protective or possessive of the home, which is definitely his case. Now, he has bit a couple people, but when he's bitten, it's really been more of a correction, more of a nip. And when he's done it, it's happened when he is overexcited. People coming to your house is one of the most exciting times for most dogs. And so we need to teach the dog how to behave and also help them relax and not be so worked up. So when I come to the door and he sees, I mean, we have the great house with all these great windows, so he sees people coming up. So he's getting revved up long before they actually get to the door. So what I did is I called the clients ahead of time and I said, look, when I get here, I'm going to do a very slow approach. And I'm going to try to recreate it here, but he probably isn't going to act the same way because I've been here feeding him treats for 2 hours. But basically what I did was when I came to the door, I told the guardians, don't say anything to him, and the guardians normally were holding him back, I think is what they said. Now, dogs have an opposition reflex. They're programmed to push and pull against us. So if I'm pulling him back at the same time he's reacting, he's going to put some intensity in to try to break free, and that will also carry over to his intensity of his reaction. And so that'll make things worse. So we don't want to have the dog on a leash. Now, normally, this is what I call a California house. I work in LA and in Omaha, but there's only one door here because it's a really tall door. But usually you have a screen door. And if you have a screen door, then what I would do is open the inside door and have the screen, which usually is just actually glass. So that way, there's a barrier the dog can't get out. Now, what I did basically was I came to the door and I knocked, and he came down, and he was all excited and was barking. I didn't say a word. I'm outside the door. He probably wouldn't have heard me anywhere. It's a nice door. And so I just waited and for him to kind of settle down. Now, his hackles were up, which is the hair right on his butt. That's an involuntary reflex. It's kind of like our nipples getting hard or getting goose pimples. We don't think about it. It just happens when we're aroused. And so for the dog, aroused in a different way. And so basically, I could tell that was, and his tail was up, his pupils were dilated, and he had a little bit of a growl with his bark. And so I just waited, and I was probably there for about 10 minutes before I actually came in. So I waited for him to kind of settle down. When he did, then I reached and I jiggled the handle a little bit. And at first I just reached for the handle. I didn't even touch it. I just reached towards it, and he got excited. I pulled it back. I did this back and forth, and then I wait for him to settle down a little bit, and reached again, and eventually I was, but you see that? That's an automatic response. That's conditioning. That's classical conditioning. Every time I hear that sound, somebody's about to come in, and I go on guard duty. Now, we talked about a lot of things off camera. He didn't have any rules. He's under-exercised. He's got a health ailment that probably is a contributing factor. So there's probably a number of things that were going on. But he thinks that his job is to protect the humans because they have not given him a job and they don't have a lot of rules. So he sees himself as being their peers or their protectors. And so we talked about a lot of things off camera that will help with that. But in this scenario, what we're going to do is we're going to look for a guest, and the guest should probably watch this video. So the guest should be somebody that will listen. A lot of people will, like, you say, don't pet my dog, and they pet the dog, and the dog bites them. Why should your dog bite me? Well, because you didn't listen. And so find somebody that will listen to you. Has a nice medium energy. Not somebody who's too high strung, because that can create some problems as well. And then, let me see, and if he has problems with like people with beards or stuff like that, we want to skip those things. We want to give him the easiest version possible and help him practice good behavior. So excited is not a balanced state of mind for dogs. It's when mistakes happen. You don't want your surgeon all excited when he's giving surgery. You want him calm and relaxed. And so same sort of thing for the dog. So basically what we're going to do is the guest is going to come up and just going to stand out there. You can knock maybe. Well, actually, I'll show you a little trick for that first. So basically, we can use a little counter conditioning for that. So you saw I knocked and he barked. So what we can do is...
He's looking for someone.
Well, actually, you're right. I think it'd be better to drop it on the floor. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it on the floor, watch him. His nose will find it, so don't point it out. So that time I gave 3 and he gave a little bit of a retort. But you can practice this. So a couple little tricks that I have is when you guys are home watching TV and there's nobody at the door, knock the wall or the counter up there, and then nobody go to the door. So this is all called a little desensitization. So now I hear that, but nobody comes through the door. Now, if he's all worked up and somebody comes in to do it, that's probably when a mistake's going to happen. So what I would recommend is you find your helper, a neighbor preferably, and keep these visits short at first, maybe 5 or 10 minutes max. So they're going to come to the door, maybe knock once, and then just going to stand there and wait. Now, the front facing is confrontational, so the dog's really aggravated. I might turn to the side, which is what I did. I don't know if you noticed when I first was there. And I was waiting. And as soon as he kind of settled down, and if he gets you a sit, then I just reached for the handle, and that got him up and came over. I retracted. And it's back and forth, and eventually I was opening it, and this door will open like this. It won't open all the way. And I was just doing it, leaving it there. And if he pounds on it, he's going to actually close it. So your dog actually helps in that regard. Usually they're pushing the door open.
Right.
So, but I want to make it as noisy as possible. See how his ear is oscillating? He's looking away, but nobody's coming in. So again, another version of desensitizing him. So the next step that what I did was I opened, when he finally moved a little bit away and he was settled down, I grabbed 3 or 4 treats and I opened the door and I just threw him right here on the floor and I closed the door. So he came over and ate the treats, and then he started barking. He had a little bit more under his breath sort of barking. Yes, you're going to get treats in a second.
He's barking at the dogs that
there
were
we
just
go.
outside.
There you go. So you got to do your job. They're running. Yes. Whoops. Oh. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. We're going to give this to you in a minute. This is a bully stick, which we're going to need to use for this. So basically, I did the opening the door and tossing the treats in 3 or 4 times. Don't toss the treats when he's right here. Wait for him to kind of go. And he was sitting over there, and then I was throwing the treats. And you can also set this up where you can actually come down here and teach him to go there on command. So if you want, let's say we call this, you want to say this state is called station. So station, sit, station. Station. Whoops. Yes, that was my thumb, not the treat. One more time. Station. So when I come over here, maybe when nobody's come grab 5 treats, come down here. I'd probably take 5 of my treats and tear them in half, and then have them go there, station, then have them come back away. Station. Station. So you can actually eventually have a command word. Station means to go over here. Or you could call it, Odessa or whatever you want to call it if we're going with the Texas theme. So teaching the dog to leave voluntarily with positive reinforcement is always a great way to do it. So then basically after I threw a bunch of treats in, then what I did is I reached out and I grabbed a bully stick and I had the door open. Well, actually before I did the bully stick, and I'm going to recreate all these things so you'll be able to watch me do it. But after doing the treats a couple times, I open it and I open just like that. So there's about this much of a gap in the door. And I put my knee up to the door so that he could sniff me through the door, but it's not wide enough for him to actually get his teeth through, so he couldn't actually bite me. Dogs should be meeting by smell, not by sight. And so, sit. Good job. Oh, and if he paws at you, that's probably more of a shake, but if he ever goes like this when you're petting him, stop petting him. That's a domination move. So once he kind of had relaxed and got the treats and he settled down, he wasn't quite so animated, then I opened the door and let him have one of these, and he promptly ran downstairs and chewed on it. I came upstairs. Then what I did before I came upstairs is I put a couple treats here, and I did kind of a trail of treats up the stairs, and a little plethora of them there, and I had another bully stick. When he finished this one, he actually came up and laid on the floor and chewed the rest of it there, and then he came over to me, I gave him another bully stick. Now these are actually bully bites, which would be better because you probably shouldn't have more than 1 a day. And so we can give them 3, or the guest can give 2 or 3 of these, and then also the guest should have a bunch of treats. You might want to get something like this. It's got a little clip so I can clip it on my belt, and I can open it up and have access to my treats as much as I want, and I can close it like that and no treats are going to fall out. And now the guest smells like he'd be giving me treats at any point. So this would be a great thing. I'd maybe leave the bully stick in this outside there. The guest comes up. Now, just like I talked about me being single, I shower. Well, now the guest could be rewarding me at any time. All right, you ready to get a bully stick and some treats? We're going to try to recreate this. All right, so just stay there. We'll keep recording, and I'm going to walk out of line of sight. And then actually, you could stay there, but you guys, as soon as I walk out of sight, go sit down and call him too.
It was a UPS truck.
Oh, okay.
See, he barks at everything.
Yes. Well, we could talk about that, but that's a different session. Okay, so go. Basically, you're going to stay filming right there. You guys are going to wait for me to leave, and then you just call him up there and hold your hand up like this, like you have a treat, and hopefully he comes to you, and then I come and knock at the door and try to recreate this whole thing. And the UPS guy might actually help make this more of a real-world situation. All right, I'm going to give you an incentive to go upstairs. How about that? So I'm going to touch your nose with a treat and then throw it up there. Go get it. Go grab it. Koda, come here, Koda.
Alright, you go sit down and call him up to you.
Okay. Koda. Hold out your hand.
Koda.
Alright, put him under since they did come.
Say good sit.
Good sit. 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 It's exactly what he did last time. One thing I did here that I didn't want you, I wouldn't like you not to do is if he gets excited, don't. I was reaching for the handle. Actually, I forgot exactly what I was going to say, but reach for the handle. He gets excited, pull back. Wait for him to settle down, reach for the handle again, back and forth. And if you notice, I was yawning a little bit. Yawning is a calming signal. It tells dogs to calm down. So if he's really animated, the guy should kind of turn sideways and have a very relaxed, calm body language. Now he's looking for the treats on the stairs. But basically, that's pretty much exactly what he did, except for he stayed downstairs the last time. But if he has something in his mouth, that's better. Hey, buddy, Koda. That's right there, buddy. So now the guest should not try to pet him. He has, I think, some eye contact dominance issues. So don't look him directly in the eyes. Don't try to engage with him. Don't try to talk to him. Act like he's not even there. Dogs are kind of like dating in high school. If you're interested in that person, they don't want to have anything to do with you. If you ignore them, they want to date you to get a problem. So for him, if the guest comes in and shows him no interest, but it precedes it by throwing treats, I would have probably open it and throw some treats. I did like 3 times, 3 treats the first time. Second time I did like 3 treats. Then I would open it and tell him to sit. And then I threw the treat, and he's a good catcher.
Yeah.
Or he can open it just wide enough where he can take it, but be careful with his fingertips if he's excited. But the key is what we're waiting for him to do is his energy level to calm down. So luckily we're getting out of the crappy time of the year. But the person might stand outside the door, wait for up to 3 to 5 minutes. I had one time where I spent 20 minutes outside the door. They can't stay in this crazy state long. As soon as they calm down, that's when I reach for the handle. And then if he gets excited, I retract. And now we'll watch. He stopped and he's looking at the door, but he's not charging here because he's got the bully stick, which is great. But those sounds normally would, I'm sure, cause him to run over here. Now, the last thing I would talk about for you guys when you have guests come over, the more proximate the dog is to something, the more intense it is. It doesn't get much more intense than here. Even there is not very hard. So instead of saying station and having him there, I would rather have him at the top of the stairs. So have him come all the way down here and then throw a treat right up there, and when he licks it up, call it, a position, just a name that, Corpus Christi, or whatever you want to say if we're going with the Texas thing. And then basically he goes up there, and then you. You come here, come, Koda, come. It's like I got a bully stick. I'm comfortable. So, but again, that's fine because that's a good sign. That means I made good progress with it. There he is. Come here, buddy. So I'm going to show him. So this would be what for you guys. Come down here, Throw the treat up there. Go get, tap the floor for him. Hold up your hand like this and make a kissing sound. There you go, and lead him down, there you go. Yeah. And then you say the word that needs to go there. So what we do is we first teach him how to do it. So come down here with like 5 treats, tear them in half. And then when he comes down, throw the treat up there. So he comes down here when he hears the sound, then he goes back up there. Ideally, what you'd like to do is actually have somebody up there with the treats. You knock on the door of the person here, and the person up there drops the treat. So instead of actually coming down here, what he does is he hears the treat, and that means go to that position and get a reward. Right now he hears this sound, and he comes to this position. Mm-hmm. So we can actually condition him, and you can actually do this where you do this sound, and then the treat drops right there.
Right here.
So I hear the sound, and then I go away from the door. And this way, if somebody comes in and they're a creepy person, tries to rob you or something like that, he can be down these stairs and helping you out in 0.9 seconds. Mm-hmm. But the distance will make it not so proximate, so it'll make it easier. Koda, come. Koda, come. Come on. Puppy, Koda, come here. Koda! Come here, buddy. We got to wrap up the video. It looks better when you're in it. Sit. Well, this is Koda, who's no longer trying to bite me. And these are some tips and tricks you can use if your dog is protective or aggressive towards guests who come to your house.